in-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
Central Texas parents have some questions about a plan to use taxpayer dollars to pay for private school tuition. Comes after the Texas Senate accelerated its version of a bill to do just that. Good morning, I'm Tom Miller. KXAN investigator Kelly Wiley reports from Cedar Park, where community members met with lawmakers and public school leaders about this potential change.
On Super Bowl Sunday, parents and grandparents packed into the sanctuary at Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. It wasn't for service or to watch the game, but to ask questions about school choice, a program on its way to becoming law after passing easily in the Senate.
If we're going to provide a voucher program, if we're going to give state funds to private schools, are we going to make sure that they also have to provide special ed services? Are we going to make sure that they also have to provide transportation?
I'm concerned about school funding. This thing could just mushroom and get blown out of control, because at what point do they decide that they've achieved enough choice?
It's a discussion happening across the state as Governor Abbott promises this session he will pass legislation creating what's called education savings accounts. On her work break, Texas public school parent Shanara Morrison told us she believes the bill would help her find the best environment for her son.
We went to public schools, charter schools, tried to do things on our own, and it just, didn't quite work out, despite whether I have the money or not. I still want to make sure that he's well taken care of, educational-wise.
If Senate Bill 2 were to become law, it would give participating students anywhere from $2,000 to $11,500. The law also lays out a plan for if the number of applications for education savings accounts exceeds the number of available spots. SB 2 would require a lottery where 80% of the available spots would be filled by public school students who are either from low-income households or who have a disability.
I don't want it to pass, but should it pass, I hope that what the state of Texas will do is respond to the need that happens actually at the public school level, so that we are not decimating public schools.
Why not? Why not? Why? That's my real question. Why not? Even if it's for a trial period, why can't we even just give it a try and see, and let's go based off results?
That was Kelly Wiley reporting for us. The panel at that Cedar Park church included Texas State Representative Vicki Goodwin and Georgetown ISD Superintendent Devin Padaville. In an interview with KXAN, Representative Goodwin said she was not convinced that the governor actually had the votes to get this to pass. Listen to this.
I think it's interesting that he says he has the votes. I think there's still some opposition to vouchers. I think there's still some of the rural Republicans that want to support their public schools.
Going in depth on this, many school districts in Central Texas are facing budget deficits and have to make cuts. These are public districts. Eanes ISD recently closed a school and cut its Spanish immersion program, while Leander ISD is talking about cutting teaching positions. In the last legislative session, Governor Abbott tied these education savings accounts, that's what they call them, to a bill that would increase school funding, but that bill did not pass. Many school districts are hoping to receive more funding this session.
First warning weather with meteorologist Kristen Curry.
Well, again, Monday morning, let's start with a live look outside. This is Dripping Springs from our Allied Medical Emergency Room camera. Definitely have some clouds out there, a few pockets of mist, drizzle, and sprinkles. Also going to be possible as we get into the later part of this morning, but the temperatures much cooler than where we've been. We've got widespread 40s on the map. A couple of us further to the south holding on to 50 degrees. But in general, I would suggest a jacket before you go. That temperature is down about 5 to 15 degrees from yesterday. This is all courtesy of that cold front that blew through yesterday, dropped our temperature significantly. I mean, we reached our highs just after midnight yesterday and then really only stayed in the 50s for the afternoon and evening. Today, is going to be another day where we struggle. I'm expecting those 40s to be with us through sunrise, but high temperatures only likely to reach those 50s with that 20% chance of drizzle. Rain chances do look much better tonight into tomorrow, and that's not just going to be drizzle. Those will be full-blown showers, and the coverage looks really good too. Continuing into Wednesday, another little shot of rain possible Saturday, but I'm going to tell you what, it's not just the rain this week. Our temperature swings will be wild with a couple different cold fronts on the way. We'll talk more about it coming up in your first morning forecast.
Thank you, Kristen. President Trump is attempting to end birthright citizenship. This is for children of undocumented parents, but he is running into some legal roadblocks, including Massachusetts. There, a federal judge in Boston is looking over the case, and Matt Pritchard reports.
Differing reactions.
Emboldened, but also encouraged.
It is absolutely part of the process.
As President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship for some takes another step through the courts. The controversial policy going before a federal judge in Boston following two other federal judges blocking the order due to conflicts with the Constitution. Now, legal experts anticipating a similar decision out of Massachusetts.
It doesn't take a brilliant legal mind to say that the president's executive order runs up against the 14th Amendment and is likely unconstitutional.
Judge Leo Sorokin grilling U.S. attorneys, questioning their argument that the children of non-citizens are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and as a result aren't entitled to citizenship.
Everybody in the administration knew that this would be challenged in the courts.
As supporters of the president's policies remain undeterred.
The intent was to get this before the Supreme Court so that they can determine what the intent of the 14th Amendment was.
A forward-looking attitude shared by Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell, who remains poised for this fight and those to come.
Does it feel just like a game of whack-a-mole at this point for you?
What I, along with our colleagues and our teams, do every single day is to respond in real time, demonstrate the power of government to help actual people.
Good morning. You've likely noticed your breakfast is costing more. NBC News has reported a dozen eggs now cost more than $5 on average, and experts say this is because of that bird flu outbreak. One local food truck left scrambling right now to find relief. Eggs, the main ingredient in their dishes. It's even in their name. Egg Laren is an Indian food truck in Austin. The business, which makes Indian cuisine, says it can go through 300 to 400 eggs during a weekend, but finding that supply has been a real challenge lately.
It is a lot more than what we used to pay for, but also we have to go multiple times because sometimes we are not able to get it, and now I have to make 2 or 3 runs just to get those eggs,
Experts blame the bird flu outbreak for scrambling the egg market, taking out more than 175 million chickens in the last 3 years. The U.S. Department of Agriculture predicts egg prices could keep climbing by more than 20%.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
NFL season in the books, Super Bowl 59. Last 3 Super Bowls decided by exactly 3 points each, including 2 years ago when the Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35. Same 2 teams last night in New Orleans. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs looking for the unprecedented 3 Super Bowl titles in a row. Philadelphia trying to get their second, and that is the brotherly shove. Jalen Hurts into the end zone first, midway through the first quarter. And then it's 10-0 when Patrick Mahomes gets smothered on back-to-back sacks. That Philadelphia defensive line was outstanding. And then still 10-0, Mahomes rolling, and firing, and Cooper DeJean with the pick, and then he gets the edge, and the Chiefs are staring at a 17-0 deficit with just over 7 minutes to go in the quarter. Bad to worse inside of 2 minutes, and that is Zach Baum with the pick in the red zone, and that leads to this. Jalen Hurts all kinds of time. A.J. Brown touchdown. Chiefs go to the locker room shell shock, down 24-0. And then Hurts to Devontae Smith, 34-0 in the third quarter. Eagles in a rout. Chiefs do get on the board a couple of times. Mahomes, the scramble. Xavier Worthy, first Longhorn to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl. In fact, he scored 2. But again, the story was that front 7 for Philadelphia. Mahomes sacked 6 times, and the Eagles have the Super Bowl win. Nick Sirianni, boy, that's about as good a Gatorade bath as we've ever seen. And there it is. Jalen Hurts is the MVP. And still, no team has won 3 in a row. All right, before the Super Bowl, a wild one at Moody Center, sold out for Texas, South Carolina, Part 2. Dawn Staley happy about the Super Bowl, not so happy about her day in Austin. Madison Booker, the nice rainmaker for 2, got off to a decent start shooting. She did not do that at South Carolina. And then transition, Jordan Lee, Rory Harmon just a little bit fired up. Texas opens up a 10-point lead. Then it's down to 7. Then Jacqueline went in Tonda. She had 8 points, got the start. And then Kyla Oldacre, she was kind of the difference in this one. It's a 9-point Texas lead at the half. You know, South Carolina is going to make a move. Tiana Paopao with the 3. It's a 1-point game, but Texas, whenever they needed a bucket, for instance here, tied up, Oldacre, the little jump hook, so Texas back up by 2. And then Texas up 2. Defense, the steal right there. Oldacre pitches it to Booker, and then Madison, the crossover, the layup, the foul, the slide, and the hook 'em. Booker with 20 points. Texas up by 5. Then up by 3. Tough shot right there from Joyce Edwards, or from Elijah Fulwiley, rather. But then Texas, 3-point game. Oldacre at 13. That makes it 5. And then the defense, also a huge story. Shea Holly, great on-ball defense. The block shot right there. And then still just a 2-point game. And Jordan Lee with the great defense forces the air ball. So now it's down to, fouling situation. And Rory Harmon, she's been in this situation before, and she buries both, and that's it. Longhorns get the win. They snap South Carolina's 47-game SEC regular season win streak, and they now are in a 3-way tie for first in the conference with South Carolina and LSU. LSU will be at Moody next Sunday. First, though, they've got to go to Kentucky. Wildcats are ranked 11th in the nation. Back to you.
Thank you, Roger. I'm not sure this counts as sports, but alongside the Eagles and the Chiefs facing off in the Super Bowl, Team Rough and Team Fluff at it again, putting on an adorable show in the annual Puppy Bowl. This year's rematch included 142 puppies from 80 different shelters across 40 states in 2 countries. Team Fluff beating Team Rough. It was a close one, 68-66, and won the Lombardi Trophy. The goal of the Puppy Bowl is to raise awareness about pet shelters across the nation and hopefully find these puppies a home.
So cute.
Yeah, and I don't know for sure. I imagine it is always extremely successful when you put these kind of puppies on national television.
Adorable.
They're
And the names, too.
Yes.
You know, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jason and Travis, in honor of the brothers. I mean, that's what you need for a little bit of boost on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are kind of wiping out the sleepies.
Let's
get it
struggling.
going. Yeah, I'm with you, friends. Let me show you what's going on with your forecast here, because whether it's puppies or some warmer weather, we're going to get you through it. The warmer weather, though, it's delayed a couple days. We're still in the wake of the cold front that moved yesterday. I know you felt it, right? It was cloudy. It was misty. We never got out of the 50s. We're going to see a very similar day play out today. Right now, clouds and radar showing quite a bit of cloud cover up over the north and western portion of our state. Currently sitting at 48 degrees in Austin. The wind coming out of the north at 5 miles per hour. Again, still brought in by that cold front, which is now sitting to our south. But I really don't think we're going to move much. 40s to start, 50s this afternoon. There's a couple models putting us in the lower 60s this afternoon. So maybe we get a little bit warmer than yesterday. But in general, I'm thinking a coat's probably needed from start to finish. That 20% you see in today's forecast, that's just going to be for drizzle. Northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour through the day. Talking about temperatures, we go from the 50s today to the low 60s tomorrow, 70s Wednesday, and our next cold front comes in. I almost say first, but if you count what we had yesterday, this would be our second cold front of the week, and there's a third on the way. I'm going to be honest, the temperature forecast this week is very tough because you'll notice today our high high resolution model puts us in the lower 60s here in the Austin metro, with a 10-degree difference out west, lower 50s in the northwest. And as we get into tomorrow, similar thing, kind of a blend of 50s and 60s. But look at as we get into Wednesday. We see this surge of warm air in the 70s and 80s ahead of that next cold front, and then our temperatures crater behind it. We get down to the 30s, it looks like, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So upper 80s or upper 70s to low 80s down to the 30s. I mean, that's what I'm talking about with a wild temperature swing this week. What about the rain chances? Well, most of today just going to be drizzle, light rain, nothing that really looks impressive until tonight. Tonight, rain chances start to come up. We're looking at showers and storms, isolated storm coverage, most of this just moderate to heavy rain through the first half of Tuesday. And then it looks like we get a second round in here. So here's round 1 through tomorrow morning and afternoon. And then here's round 2 late Tuesday night into Wednesday before things dry out here. As far as this rain chance goes on Thursday, I'm not sold yet. So I'm not going to put in a rain chance just yet on Thursday. I think most of what we see comes tomorrow and Wednesday, and that's going to be anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to about 1.25 inches here. I would assume most of us would be right around that 1/2 inch mark to 1 inch. So good looking and healthy rain as we get into the next couple of days here. But again, the temperatures are going to go all over the place. 50s today, 60s tomorrow, 70s Wednesday. We don't leave the 40s on Thursday. We drop down to the 30s overnight. And then we do it all over again this weekend. Temperatures up to the 70s Saturday, and then a 20-degree dip again heading into Sunday, the back end of the weekend. Let's move on to this now. Devastating wildfires in Southern California last month have obviously displaced thousands of people, and now one Altadena resident is using his talent to help heal his community. Jonathan Gonzalez has that story.
This looks good here.
His name is Kenny Arts.
This is permanent ink, so I can watercolor right over the top of it.
And Kenny loves to paint what he knows best.
Altadena, the best little city in the world.
It's the place he and his family have called home for nearly 40 years now.
Altadena has kind of a unique place among black folks. Altadena was one of the first places that was not doing redlining back in the day.
With a little water and a little color, Kenny adds a little life to the otherwise mundane.
Watercolors, to me, they have a voice of their own.
Like his paintings of the Altadena post office or the local hardware store.
Altadena Hardware, some of the greatest people in the world.
Today, Kenny is painting a row of small shops along Lake Avenue, except the shops are no longer there.
Yeah, it's been a tough situation. You know, especially for so many people that have lived here for so long. This is the sort of place where I could walk down the street and run into 2 or 3 neighbors that I knew. And so that's not happening right now.
Since the Eden fire destroyed so much of Altadena, Kenny's been documenting the destruction, posting his new works next to his originals for a heartbreaking before and after.
You know, people deal with tragedy in different ways, and this is one of the ways I deal with mine. 38 years.
For Kenny, life is imitating his art. His home was also lost in the fire.
Lost my home and all of my artwork except a few small paintings. I lost my studio at my home, but this right here is my studio.
And so Kenny dips his brush into the palette, painting the unpalatable state of his beloved Altadena.
Whether they call it the silver lining in the clouds or something, and that's what we try to do. We look for that.
He knows it may never look like it used to.
I'm just about finished now.
But he also knows it won't always look like this.
I think that light right up there is just sort of a symbol. So there's some light from above. You ready for?
Beautiful story there by Jonathan Gonzalez. There is some mounting research that reveals the impact of isolation on people's health, your health, mental and physical as we get older. KXAN's Avery Travis shows us how a local group is trying to combat loneliness among seniors in our area by spreading love in time for Valentine's Day.
Companionship is a funny thing. It can come from the obvious, a spouse, family.
5.
But sometimes, who you spend the most time with
Carol gets so excited.
is up to the roll of the dice. Barbara Brunick spends nearly every day with Carol Davey, thanks to a service called Senior Helpers of Austin. From doctor's appointments to downtime.
We get along. We bicker every once in a while, but yeah, but you know, I never feel like leaving her.
And when Carol does leave, family tags in. But they know that is not the case for many seniors. A national poll shows 1 in 3 adults ages 50 to 80 say they feel lonely or isolated. The AARP reports research links loneliness with physical health problems. One recent study suggesting it may even cause the body to age faster. It's something senior helpers see and hear firsthand.
Why do I keep being forgotten? And why don't I have as many friends as I used to have? And it truly shatters me.
And something they're trying to change.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, how sweet.
Absolutely. It's dedicated just for you, Miss Brunick.
They're hoping to deliver hundreds of these Dear Senior cards for the holiday.
Stop already.
As Carol and Barbara, a former nurse herself, can attest,
No force.
caring for others is often the quickest way to feel like a winner.
You don't get lonely with that.
That was Avery Travis reporting for us. Still ahead, a possible change to your commute, the busy exit along Mopac closing for months. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for being with us. Hope you'll join us on air for that. You can find all our stories on KXAN.com.